Police in South Australia are now investigating a senator's claim that a person died during Telstra's 000 crisis yesterday. Officers are now talking to their family and, if true, Telstra's nightmare is about to get a whole lot worse, and the company's boss is still nowhere to be seen.
Well, good afternoon, everyone.
For a second day, Telstra's chief financial officer is pushed into the spotlight, defending the telco and the whereabouts of his boss.
So she'll be back tonight?
She'll be back on deck tomorrow morning.
Chief Executive Officer Vicky Brady is returning from an overseas holiday.
She got on the first plane that she could get onto to get back.
But the outage may have been deadly. Police investigating Senator Karen Liddell's claims the 000 failure led to the death of an elderly person in country South Australia. Officers now speaking with their family.
I want to again apologise for the disruption.
A software defect in a data centre behind the meltdown. In total, 639 welfare checks were conducted through texts, calls and police. 7 callers advised they needed assistance. Their details passed on to emergency services.
We've now implemented a solution that has addressed the impact of this issue.
The meltdown also stranding rail commuters in Melbourne as the regional network was brought to a halt.
We just stayed up on this little hotel. Only $150 for the night, so it wasn't too bad, but
yeah, it was $150 that you should have.
Yeah, still $150.
In Adelaide, interstate trains replaced by buses.
This is atrocious. It really is. And it's not the company's fault, it's a Telstra issue.
Telstra is considering compensation for its customers, but it could also face fines in the tens of millions from the communications watchdog.
Financial penalties are a big driver of motivation when it comes to private business.
We need reliability, we need minimum performance standards, we need compensation, and we need everything built around the consumer.
Let's go live now to our reporters with developing details. Josh, we'll go back to you in Canberra now. How's the government reacted to the death under investigation?
Michael, government sources tell 7 News it'll let this police probe occur before it responds, but Telstra has just released its own statement saying its thoughts are with this family. The telco is working with South Australian Police to support this investigation and to establish whether there is any connection between this matter and yesterday's network outage. The communications watchdog is also investigating the wider meltdown. Michael?
All right, Josh, thank you. Let's go to Tom Saker now. Tom, authorities are still checking on those caught up in the 000 mess.
Yes, Michael, Telstra has reached out to hundreds of callers today who phoned emergency lines yesterday to make sure they're okay. Most of them responded, but some didn't, and their details were handed on to police who've been knocking doors to confirm they are all right tonight. There have been 38 of those checks across New South Wales, with just one outstanding tonight. Here's what Premier Chris Minns had to say a little earlier today.
Certainly we don't want a repeat of it because it knocked a lot of people around yesterday. It disrupted an enormous amount of public transport.
And just on that issue of transport, regional services are slowly returning to normal, with intercity trains to Wollongong and Newcastle also returning to normal, but we have been told to expect some delays tonight, Michael.
All right, Tom, there in the city, thank you for that. There was a close call for a Carlton restaurant owner today, just metres away, when a car came crashing through the front window. The out-of-control station wagon skidded along the footpath before ploughing into the popular pizza shop, but incredibly, no one was seriously hurt.
On a collision course in Sydney's south, a crash between two cars sends this Subaru spinning.
He sort of did a 360 spin, detoured, and then sort of ran back into the pizza shop.
A power pole knocked over, the other car only partially damaged, but the front of Bienvenuti Italian restaurant was destroyed, its owner shattered.
Well, when I saw it, was a shock, Of course, I'm not feeling good.
The crash happened just after 11 this morning, hours before the business was due to open. But Michael was already at work, just metres away.
Just opened the back door and I heard this big bang, a bit of vibration, quite a bit of vibration, say, and a table flying in front of me.
Witnesses say the female passenger was most shaken by the collision after bearing the brunt of the impact. She was taken to hospital as a precaution with minor injuries.
She was just shocked. She couldn't even speak. She doesn't even know how it happened. So I think he just lost control of the vehicle.
I'm really, really glad that there was no bar inside, my workers, any customers, and I think also the driver of the car is not doing too bad.
Emily Francis, 7 News.
The brothers of an alleged senior member of the Alameddine crime gang have become the latest targets in Sydney's underworld war, with their Guildford home sprayed with bullets overnight. The men were on the driveway but managed to dodge the gunfire as 2 young children slept inside.
8 shots fired with a family inside. No difference to 2 gunmen who brazenly unloaded on this Guildford home.
Rapid fire shots. It just went bang, 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 bang. It's unsafe in the street, it's like not the same anymore.
Police say the shooters were aiming for 2 men on the driveway on Rickard Street, spraying their home and a van with bullets, but they missed their targets. The pair then fleeing the scene in a white Audi, police arriving minutes later.
There were another 2 adults and children inside that house. The children were quite young.
It's believed they were after the brothers of Ali El Mubayed, an alleged senior figure of the Alameddine crime gang. His family today attempting to hide from cameras.
The men are known to the police. A number of lines of inquiry exist, including links to organised crime.
Despite the spray of bullets, remarkably, nobody here was injured. Police now determined to hunt down the duo and anyone else behind the shooting.
Appalled by this behaviour and will be coming for them.
A gangland feud that's put yet another family in the firing line. Nick Overall, 7 News.
A plane load of Sydney's Indian community have chartered a special flight to Melbourne to see their country's leader, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's here to buy our uranium and is getting the full rockstar treatment.
A tarmac welcome for Narendra Modi, India's Prime Minister, greeted by a federal one, then a Premier, with an 18-second handshake. PM with PM had to wait until AM. A business breakfast at the Sofitel where compliments were main course.
You are the living bridge between our nations.
This is Modi's 3rd Australian visit, the most of any Indian leader. This time he wants our uranium, striking a deal for billions of dollars of the radioactive element to fuel India's growing power demands.
And give our clean energy objectives fresh momentum.
Providing an additional market for the Australian resources sector.
Australian Super will invest $500 million in India's investment and infrastructure fund.
The relationship has gone beyond culture and cricket and commerce to actual business and collaboration between the 2 countries.
Modi, go back! No uranium for you!
Protests followed Modi around Melbourne.
The Indians will misuse it against the minorities in India.
About 1 million Indian-born people live in Australia. Going by their signs, this group doesn't like that.